Welcome to book club, everybody.
Woo!
Book club.
We have Melissa with us from Craftgasm. Melissa, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Melissa. I'm Craftgasm. I own a stationery company called Craftgasm where I make stationery and screen prints. And I own Analog, a shop in Washington, D.C., specializing in handmade and vintage goods.
Sweet. And then the important question is, what are you drinking/eating today?
I'm eating a oatmeal chocolate chip cookie from Potbellies, which if you've had are delicious. And I'm drinking water because I drank all of my pumpkin chai tea latte thing that I had and ran out. And I thought I had more, but I don't. And it's sad.
Well, we'd never know. It's a giant mug.
Yeah.
You can tell us you're drinking it.
It's a giant. You know what? It's straight up. It's just straight up whiskey is what this is.
I'm drinking, what is the tea that you like? Constant Comment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out of a Bath Postal Museum mug that my friend Megan got when she went to England for me. So super fancy.
I am drinking Potion that Kathy made out of a Letter Writers Alliance Circus Styrofoam mug.
Potion being ginger, fresh ginger, and then digestive, and some honey and
It's
some
straight
tea.
up witch stuff.
It is witch stuff.
Slash whiskey.
She had tiny bottles of things she was
It's like
putting in it.
I was bringing out my inner Flavia.
Oh,
chemistry.
Right. Yes.
Ha! I did into the book that we're reviewing today, guys.
Which is
Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie by Alan Bradley. Yes. There we go.
This is the book. If
Yeah.
you read a different book, then this is the wrong book club. Yes.
Yeah. Indeed. And then, Melissa, would you like to tell us how you got interested in letter writing or mail?
Sure. I've always been interested in letter writing and mail. I always had pen pals. I used to make my family write each other notes, and then on Tuesdays was family dinner night at my grandparents' house, and then I'd make them write each other notes so that I could play postman and deliver them to them.
That's adorable. That's really cute.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So that was my early introduction, and then I just was making stationery all the time anyway for myself, and I discovered you guys, which was real useful for my life, thank you, and that other people were also giant nerds, and I had people to write to who weren't just my friends, so that was nice, and my pen pal list has blossomed from there. Also, I'm really behind, I'm sorry, friends.
No mail guilt.
You're not
All right.
behind consignment checks, which is the real important part. Not the important
That's
part
true.
at all. I'm always just like, I got this check for like $3. Like on clockwork, like every month.
And then the important part is that you're in DC, right?
I am in DC.
Okay, and so we're in Chicago, so we'd love to hear on the chat widget if you go to letterwriters.org/bookclub.html and book, the B is capitalized and the C in club is capitalized. We have a chat window there, and that's where we're going to be talking with you.
There might be a way to actually like type that in for people.
No, there's no way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's no chatting like on the Google Plus. It's annoying. So we're there, or you can tweet and Instagram us with the hashtag L.W.A. Book Club. So we'll answer any questions that you have there or comments. So on any of those ways, let us know where you're watching from because we'd like to know where you are. So then let's get to Le Book. What do you think?
I mean, I love this book. This is my second time reading it. I think I loved it less the second time, but that may be the fact that it's a mystery and I already knew the ending. So, I mean, that's... So.
That is part of the fun.
Yeah.
So I had like a really weird split feeling about this book, that I really, really liked it, and then it annoyed the hell out of me at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. But
Because she's a little shit. That's why.
she is. She's a little bit like, of a brat, and it was a little wordy, like.
See, that's the part I love about it.
Okay.
I mean, I like that she's a little shit. I'm totally down with that because it reminds me of myself.
This book is just like steeped in England. It is so full of references and English pop culture of its time that, I mean, I would love to read an annotated version of this to explain to me all the references I'm not getting.
Yeah,
I wrote a thing where I wrote down Britishisms to look up because I was like, I don't know what the hell this means. Hang on.
Yeah, the thing, I think I did end up looking this up, and then I forgot what it is. Vortrix. Vortrix and gin is the drink that the dad makes for himself when the constable is questioning him, and I don't know what Vortrix is.
Did you look it up?
Not yet. I'll look it up.
You have a computer right there.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
I like that you focused on the alcohol. That I didn't even notice.
What's that Vortrix and gin?
That's fair.
Vortrix and Pop Rocks. Am I?
Vortrix vermouth. It's a type of vermouth.
Oh, it's a type of vermouth. Okay, so he basically made himself a martini.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
That's fair.
So yeah, I would be reading it and I wouldn't want to put it down, but then I would get exasperated at the same time about it. So it was a weird push and pull. Yeah.
I read it in all one go, and I was glad I did that because I would have been like, I don't know if I want to, I liked it. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I read it in one go, and I was glad.
Yeah.
Because then you could, like, some of the clue, she's 11, so she's not putting stuff together the way we are, and hopefully. And so I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem like that seems shady or whatever about Pemberton and things. And so I'm glad I could do that and not forget, like, little details about things.
I did think that was really successful in the book, is the way he writes a child and a child's thought processes. And just, like, the sort of winding and her constant, like, sort of mood swings.
Mm.
Because that's very childlike. It's very just like, and now I'm riding my bike pell-mell down this road and singing a song because I'm a crazy kid.
I mean, so, okay, here's something, and it is not a question I posted on the Goodreads forum. I'm an only child, so is this kind of, like, hatred between siblings a thing? You would have killed your brother?
Surprised I didn't. Yes.
I'm also an only child, so I cannot help with this discussion.
I mean, there are siblings out there that are wonderful to one another, and, I don't understand how they did it, but no, my brother and I were mortal enemies. I absolutely understand everything about that.
Yeah. I think it was partly their ages, because her sisters are basically, like, in the 50s, that's like puberty and late puberty, and they can't express their feelings for anything because they don't know how, because their dad has never taught them, and they don't have a mother to do it for him. And I think that their way of interacting with each other is partially based on the fact that they have all these feelings and they have no way of, like, getting them out in a healthy manner. I think that's part of Flavia's problem. Is it Flavia or Flavia?
I say Flavia.
I was saying Flavia, too.
Okay, I can do that, too. That's good. Flavia. We're in it. There's an silent H. I got it.
It's the origin root of her name, as mentioned in the books, means golden-haired one, but it comes from the word for flax. So that's how you pronounce flax. Fla.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Barbara on the chat says that Flavia is annoying as well. She agrees. I mean, she's annoying, but then at the same time, she'll say or do something where I'm like, oh my god, yes, I so would have thought that when I was a preteen.
But that's the thing. I think she's properly annoyingly written. Like, I think she's just written very well as a child.
So preteens are just that annoying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are.
I thought it was just the ones I knew.
No, they're all that way. They can be, at some points, gems, but most of the time you're just like, what is your problem? Is my experience with the younger people.
With the youth today? Yeah.
The youth today.
Yeah. So one specific thing. So okay, the back of this book says that it's supposed to be like commentary on the class system, which I just don't know enough about British class system to say whether or not that was accurate, or if I would have even thought that it was a commentary on it if they didn't say it in the back.
I didn't feel like it was commentary on the class system.
Yeah.
I feel like it showed you the class system.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like social commentary.
Yeah, the thing that I actually thought
it felt like a mystery story.
It was saying a lot of commentary on was the gender roles.
Sure.
And one part, hold on, let me see. Oh man, I can't remember what page it was, but it was when she called the police and the police were in her cucumber garden, and you know, she's trying to help them because she'd seen so much, and they basically shoot Flavia off, saying like,
go get some tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's like, pretty accurate to current times.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that was also a fact that she was a child. They were sending her inside.
No, because if it was a boy child, they would have allowed him to rough about,
I don't
poke
think so.
the dead body with sticks or something like that.
I don't think so.
I don't think they would have let a boy play in there, but I think they would have let him hang out.
Or they would have,
because I don't think they would have had a boy go get tea.
Yeah, they would have sent him away and not asked him to get tea. Yeah.
Right. I like her sarcasm about it too. She's like, "Oh, of course, I'm the only female." And I was like, "I like this girl."
Yeah.
I mean, I know I said she was a little shit, but that doesn't mean I don't like her.
Oh yeah, I'll get drinks with her. She's fun.
Now that she's older,
I'm sure she'll age appropriately to the part where we can.
Maybe when she could handle some whiskey at 11, I think she'd be able to handle it at 11 if you needed her to.
Again, maybe.
Yeah.
I would say my problem the second time reading it through is the first time reading it through, I remember just being utterly enamored with Flavia. Like, Flavia was not that I wanted to, be her friend, but that I wanted to be her. I wanted to be as witty and as smart and as just spunky as this kid. And the second time through, that bothered me because she's too much that way, and she doesn't feel real to me because of it.
I didn't find any of the characters realistic, honestly, except for maybe the daughter of the hotel owner.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
I kind of found the inspector believable.
Well,
more believable.
But I think that might be like a typism of the British inspector, and maybe that's why he's believable.
Maybe. Well, and also, remember, this is all from Flavia's point of view, too. So your descriptions are all being seen through the lens of this imaginative, inquisitive, maddening 11-year-old.
It's a very good way to sum her up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't find the characters that believable. It's so funny because I thoroughly enjoyed reading the book, and then there's so much about it that annoys me. And so I've never had a book that I've enjoyed reading that I have so many cons to say about it. It's so odd.
Will you read another book about Flavia?
No.
Because there is at least one other one.
I mean, it depends how old she is.
I think he keeps her approximately the same age, he said.
No, then absolutely not. If I get to see what this character turns into as a teenager or an adult, then I'd be interested to read it, but not her all over again.
Yeah, I think she only ages a year or two.
Yeah. I was jealous of her chemistry room, her lab.
Oh, you know what? I think the place where they're at is as much a character in this book as any person. There's whatever the Buckshaw. I think Buckshaw is, and the town they live in. I think all of that is so very rich and fascinating.
Yeah, the house.
I think it would have been. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know if I agree about the house part. I agree about the town part, but I don't feel like the house didn't I don't know. I tried to contemplate that when I saw the question on the Goodreads list, I think, and I was just like, not really. I thought it was a good backdrop, but
Okay.
it didn't
To
have
me,
enough
the house and the grounds,
to
like,
me,
you don't have.
going personality. Like, it didn't seem to react in a way that I've seen other places. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't. I don't know what I'm saying, but it
wasn't
I
affected by the
disagree.
story at all. It wasn't affected by the story at all.
Right. It's gonna stay the same, I think, whether or not.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who's there or what happened.
I did like how the mom, although deceased, was so alive in the story.
Yeah.
But you know still so little about her.
But she was huge. I mean, like, first of all, the bicycle was I consider the bicycle a character.
Yeah. I think the bicycle was more of a character than the location.
Oh, yeah. Like, her attachment to it, the fact that she named it was a Gladys or something. That it had to tie with her mother. And then we kept talking about the mom over and over again with all these things that you kept finding, these objects. And then at the very end, when the cook was talking about how the mom said, oh, no, you have to cook this pie for us, you know, to remind us how snobby we are, and then take it home. I thought that was amazing. That thing kept going after this woman's death.
Right. She got permission once, and so she's, like, good for decades.
Yeah. I would read a story about the mom.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like a prequel.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I would totally do that.
She was a pilot, like, she went mountaineering in the 40s, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
She sounds awesome. I want to meet her.
Yeah.
I also thought, like, a lot of Flavia's, like, little shitness, if for lack of a better term, was because she didn't know her and was jealous, especially because she doesn't have any of her own, like, strong females that are like her. Because her sisters are kind of like, you know, one reads all the time, which is great, but, you know, she's not like, seems like,
there you are,
you know, party girl and a little self-centered. And so I think, like, Flavia is mad that she had this awesome person and then doesn't have her. Like, everybody else got her. And so I think, like, part of her, you know, like, destroying the pearls of Ophelia's and things like that are, like, you know, her being ticked off that these people have memories of her but can't appreciate them the way that they ought to.
Well, now you kind of convinced me that the house is a character, actually, because that house has to be
the
oppressive.
only way that Flavia knows her mother.
Well, it has to be oppressive for her. If what Melissa's saying is the reason behind her being a shit, then the house has got to be pushing down on her so much. Because I bet you that if they moved to a different location, she could be free to not have the presence of her mother weighing upon her. And, like, this comparison or... No?
No.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
That's deep. I can get that. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
All right, I changed my mind. The house is half Harriet, and the house is awesome.
But, I mean, it's weird. I would say it doesn't, Donovan's right, it doesn't change.
I don't think it's oppressive to her. I think it nurtures her. I think that house is as much her mother as much her parent as her father has been.
Well, her father hasn't been. That's the problem.
Yeah, but her parents are her father and that house.
Yeah. Or that chemistry book.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald in the chat says that there's about 5 or 6 other books.
Yeah.
So I'll have to look up what they are.
In the strain of all other good, you know, child mystery solving books. The Three Investigators, Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
Boxcar Children. Babysitter's Club Mysteries. You can't have just one. You gotta have, like, 12.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. It says Flavia Deluxe #1. So there are
Flavia.
8 books. There are 8 books, and then one of them is 6.5.
Maybe
So-
it's like a short story.
Maybe he wrote 7 and then put something in between.
Yeah, it must have been.
I like it.
I'll do research to see if she ages. She has to age. You can't go through 8 books and keep her 11. I mean,
That's a really busy year.
that's a lot of murders in one year. So, yeah, wow. But
I like to think by the 7th book she thinks she's an expert, and so she just starts murdering people who deserve it. That
And then
makes her a
tries-
serial killer.
yeah. What is it called? A vigilante?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So then, since I mentioned the chemistry book, that's one of our questions. Is have you ever had such a reaction to a book where it, like, sets your path or changes something huge in your life, like the same way that the chemistry book did for Flavia?
Well, I mean, in Flavia's story, I'm a Daphne. I did nothing but read.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Right.
couldn't put it on one book.
Right.
It was all books.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I had a hard time, like, trying to figure out if there was one book that ever did it for me, but I was kind of the same way, that I would hole up in my room and just read a bunch of books, and then had too much of the inside world and decided to go bike for a few hours or something like that, like, I did, yeah. There definitely wasn't one book where I was like, oh my gosh!
See, when I would have enough of the inside world, I would just take the book outside.
Oh.
But there was never not a book.
I had to get all spazzy outside and
Never not a book.
get all the energy out.
Always a book.
Yeah, you just climb the tree and then read it in the tree, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Trees are great because people don't bother you if you're in the tree.
This is true.
Or ask me
True.
the worst question in the world ever, what are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing? I'm reading a book.
I'm reading a damn book is what I'm doing. Yeah.
Leave me alone. What are you reading? Oh my god. I hate it.
Is it good? Well, I'm still reading it. I'm trying to read it. Yes, that's good. Leave me alone.
Read it. Please go away.
You can ask me about it when the book is closed.
You can never ask me about it. Sorry.
Oh, man. So then another one of my questions was, what was your favorite scene from the book? And I wrote that question, and I don't have an answer.
Oh, my next post-it note.
Oh, yeah? What was your favorite?
Well, I can read you my favorite line.
Yeah.
Besides being Bishop Lacey's only confectioner, Miss Cool was also its postmistress, and as such knew everything worth knowing, except chemistry, of course.
Well, okay.
My favorite line. Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I guess that
was-
whole scene in the candy shop was kind of cool to me, like, that she was able to manipulate this woman to get...
Oh, totally.
I don't know why I thought that was cool, but I think maybe because I was able to picture the entire scene perfectly. So, Anyway, your favorite line?
Oh, yeah, I didn't super have a favorite scene, but I did like the, she was describing how somebody had asked her, oh, God, that must have been terrible, and she was, like, rehashing it in her mind, and she ends with the thrill of it all, and then she says, totally deadpan, yes, it was devastating.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
did.
good
I did
job.
appreciate how, death was like this mysterious, thrilling thing for her. Which, I mean, honestly, as humans, we have a push-pull about it being this terrifying, horrible thing, and also totally, utterly fascinated with it at the same. And I like that he expressed that. So.
Yeah. And she's got a dead mom. Of course she's curious about it.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I'm a big morbid kid, so that her reaction to that was spot on as far as I was concerned, which I think is your next question. I read ahead. How do you feel about Flavia's reaction to the body in the garden?
Oh yeah, the person dying in her garden. Yeah. No, I thought it was great, and God, she said something about how it changed the garden, like it added an energy to it, or something like that. I thought.
Yeah, I think that comes up later. It's just she talks about how the garden is just so very boring afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Like in comparison now.
Yeah.
Because there's not a body in it.
Right.
Yeah. So I thought that part of it was cool. And then did I not? Hold on. Believable. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is the part that I'm interested in. That since it's supposed to be so super British, and it's very like Miss Marple-ish, you know, murder in a small village, town, and then this meddling woman is the one who normally goes around trying to find all the clues, but instead they switch it to be this 11-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you like her filling the shoes of like a Miss Marple or Jessica Fletcher?
It was great.
Why not?
Yeah.
What do you think she could have gotten away with that an old lady couldn't get away with?
Well, it's the same sort of situation, honestly, because the respect and sort of leeway given to older people is often the same sort of leeway given to younger people.
Well,
yeah, and nobody's expecting her to have an agenda.
Yeah.
So she can ask questions, and people just think she's just like a curious kid. They're not like trying to figure out why she's asking them.
Yeah, they don't.
As guarded.
They never consider the ulterior motive of a child or a spinster.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it doesn't happen so much with Jessica Fletcher, but with Miss Marple.
It happens all the time with Jessica Fletcher.
Hang on. This part.
She gets let do shit all the time.
No. That people, yeah, but they assume she doesn't have an ulterior motive. Or they're like, she's a mystery writer, so she's interested in mystery, so obviously she doesn't have an ulterior motive. She's doing something with mystery. But Miss Marple is just supposed to be this old biddy who loves knitting, and she hasn't written any mystery novels. So most of the time they'll let her do whatever she wants because they're just like, it's just some old lady. She's completely harmless. She's never going to do anything.
There you go. You know? Harmless.
Yeah.
Harmless is the key word here because Flavia is also harmless.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she could poison you. We know she's not harmless. She knows she's not harmless. But she will use that as her, and she does in the book constantly. She uses, like when she bursts into tears in the policeman's office, she's like, because it was the only tool to me.
The only thing I had, yeah.
And she's like, that's just, I will play this role to get what I want.
Yeah, so I guess that maybe since it was a book, well, okay, so when you read Miss Marple, she doesn't show her hand as much as Flavia does.
Well, because we're not, okay, I've never read Miss Marple. I don't know if Miss Marple's this point of view.
Yeah, no, Miss Marple tends to be the point of view, and she tends to be manipulative, but you don't really get to see until the final
When you
reveal.
read a Miss Marple book, is it in first person?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
I can't remember now. It's been so long since I've read Agatha Christie books, but I'm pretty sure it's in first person. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you read any Agatha Christie, Melissa?
No, I haven't. It's on the list, but the list is also like 4,000 books, so I don't know when that's going to happen. But maybe now I'll read more because I have interest in the genre now.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how an old lady does the same thing as this 11-year-old.
Awesomely, because no
Less
one...
bike riding?
Well, Jessica
Less
Fletcher
bike riding.
writes, but not Miss Marple. She does
Jessica
low.
Fletcher is a badass.
Yeah, she is.
She does jog as well. Very fit. Our Miss Fletcher.
Cross promotion being next Sunday is Murder, She Drank, where we play...
we watch 2 episodes of Murder, She Wrote and play Murder, She Drank Bingo.
Mm-hmm. With the show's tropes.
Yeah.
And we live tweet it, and you can join in. And you can print out the PDFs of those bingo cards at murdershedrank.wordpress.com. So that's what we do.
Over.
Yeah, commercial's over. Brought to you by Murder, She Drank. So what was the other thing I was going to say about... I can't remember now. Let me see. What's on our list, too? I think we addressed everything.
I will say there's a part in the book I really like, which definitely shows gender roles, and it's the bit where she's actually talking about the few times that their father has, like, attempted to teach them anything about stamp collecting. And does a few pages about it, and it's just delightful, because it talks a lot about stamp collecting, but it also makes so much fun of it that it, makes me laugh. They talk about how during his lectures they would have stamp out lectures as a note that they would pass. It's really funny.
Yeah, the puns were the best.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. I have a question. Did anybody else wonder why the hell these girls weren't in school, by the way?
I just figured it was summer.
I thought that too, but then she goes to that boarding school and they're in school.
But they're in boarding school. Maybe their term
But
is
they have
different.
summers.
No, yeah, they have summers where they go back home.
Yeah, but maybe their term is different.
It's possible that because they're upper class, they don't technically have to go to school, and then the dad probably
That's what I was wondering.
whatever the hell they're doing at home as homeschooling.
Maybe they have a tutor or something.
But they don't because their dad is weird.
They did mention piano lessons.
Yeah. Perhaps. What's this last one here?
You
didn't
I don't know if I remember.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my other thing was the thing I noticed when he was like, when their dad was saying about how the house is not actually his, it's Harriet's.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, there are two problems I see with this. One is that it used to be, I mean, I know that male heirs take precedence, but there are no male heirs, so the girls should get it, if nothing else. But B, your property was, a woman's property was then her husband's if she got married, so if she dies, it should still be in his name. Also, third point, she's a mountaineer and she doesn't have a damn will? Come on, Harriet, get your shit together.
It's mysterious.
So those are my three problems with the plot point that this house may not be permanent for them. But that's my only, I don't know, somebody who knows more about the legal system and airing things in Britain in the 1940s and 50s could chime in and let us know what the hell's going on there. That would be great.
Yeah, the only thing I know about that, I don't know about the heir thing in terms of like why it didn't go to the father. But in terms of like what was going on during that era, a lot of those houses were running out of money and they were just, the families were going broke trying to fix them. So that's when all those houses started going up for sale. It was in between the two. It was in between the two wars and right after the Second War. That's when all those stuff started going up for sale.
I don't know enough about it.
So,
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have this marked mainly because it annoys the crap out of me when someone is taking a note in a book and you have to tell me they're taking a note by changing the font in the book. Don't do that. I know they're taking a note.
Oh, you mean into this
hate
Comic
that.
Sans thing?
I hate it.
Yeah.
Not quite Comic Sans, but yeah, her kid handwriting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like, I get it. She's making notes. You've set it off as a paragraph. You've got it indented. I got it.
I actually
hate
didn't
that.
care to read this part of it at all. I almost skipped over the whole thing because I was just
You were
like,
I know this already.
no, I was just like, this. I didn't think she was going to provide any information that would be helpful to solving it. Maybe because she's a stupid, annoying 11-year-old girl.
I really loved how, she came about her deductions and how the police came about their deductions. I liked that little scene. They're like, oh, we just followed his shoes. His shoes were... and she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
She didn't have access to that part.
Yeah.
So
She did. She saw them, and they made note of them. But she didn't think to, go back and look at them or anything. That wasn't, a clue she followed up on.
But if she wouldn't have followed up on her clue with the suitcase or whatever like that, she would have never found the note that was cut out from that sticker that was on the suitcase.
Those were the stamps written there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
said
the
no.
stamps. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. So, yeah. Okay, yeah, the last question I realized we didn't ask. So, with her kidnapping, in the end, was the fact that she was kidnapped a surprise to you, that was going to happen, and how she got out of it, was that a surprise to you?
I remember I read books very fast. And while I have good reading comprehension, I do not have great reading retention. So I can remember the only thing I remembered about this book were the feelings of terror I had for her during that part of the book. So much so that when she first goes to the library in the book, I was just like, oh no, is this the part? Is this the part? I really was totally about, I was like, oh no, we must get there later.
Yeah.
But I remembered that vividly from the first
time that
I read the book.
Okay.
The second time, it wasn't nearly as, I was prepared.
Mm-hmm.
but it seemed really dire to me at the time. Like, it did seem really, really upsetting.
Yeah. Like, when she's in the first chapter where her sisters are doing it, like, I was like, this can't possibly be... I don't think he's going to do a flashback. It doesn't seem that sort of a book. So I don't think this is, like, a serious thing. But, you know, when it was her sisters, I was like, this makes so much more sense. But, you know, she was so confident in how she was going to get out of that. And then to have an adult who knew what they were doing and was actually sinister, she was, like, she didn't... It was out of her league. Like, she didn't have a way to get out. And I was kind of... I mean, it was more realistic that way, I suppose. But I was a little annoyed that somebody else kind of had to rescue her. I was hoping that she'd, I don't know, thought to bring a pocket knife. I don't know, something. But I did like that. I did. Yeah, that's true. That's true. She did kick some ass there.
Yeah,
and she used what she had very well. Like she did deduction. She went around the room very logically. Like those are the things she could do. But yeah, I forgot about her kicking him in the face. I don't know how I forgot that. That was great. But
yeah, she took a scientific approach to it, to trying to figure out how to get out. So first of all, I did forget to mention that opening scene was awesome. I thought that was a really great way to start the book. But as soon as I realized that, you know, it was her in the closet and her sisters did it to her, I was like, this is gonna come back later for some reason.
I never thought. I thought it was a way to present that. You know, they didn't like each other.
No, I figured it was going to come back.
And Flavia knew certain skills.
Yeah, no.
And not so much skilled in escaping, but that I'm not surprised she knew how to pick a lock. Like, no, sure, Dadu taught you great. Like, I feel like this is something in your handbook.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, this is foreshadowing. But because I thought it was foreshadowing, I was shocked that she didn't get out of the kidnapping as easily as I thought she was going to. I thought she was going to kick ass and get out of there because of what I thought was foreshadowing in the beginning of the book.
But again, like I feel like that's his really, like his shining glory with this book is that she is a child, and she has the limitations of a child.
Yeah, it was cool though. The whole family was there, and like these people you thought that were so distant from each other came to her rescue.
Yeah.
It was Dodger. I know it was Dodger.
No. I liked that a lot because, again, we only see them through her eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
And that presents that they probably also have a certain depth of feeling that we're missing.
Yeah. Which makes me realize we haven't talked about Dodger at all, and he's a huge part of this book.
Well, he's hard to talk about because there's not a lot. He's a man of few words. He's great
for the most part.
Yeah, I like him a lot, and I'm actually kind of surprised with the way that Flavia presents herself, that she is sympathetic to him. Like, it's so easy to just be like, well, she's a selfish child, so she won't give a crap about Dodger. She won't even give Dodger, like, that sympathy.
She never strikes me as selfish.
No. I think he's her father figure in a way. Like, he spends time with her, he teaches her things, he taught her to pick a lock. Her dad has taught her about stamps. That is what her dad has taught her.
Yeah.
He seems nice, but, you know, he's very distant.
Yeah, like that guy that's
like, when he's there, is there. Like,
yeah.
He seems more hands-on in the fatherhood figure department of things, so.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that she's sympathetic to him.
Yeah, I guess maybe...
I do like... Oh, go ahead.
No, I just thought I thought she was selfish, but maybe I'm thinking about something else. Like, not necessarily selfish, but self-absorbed.
Self-absorbed, definitely.
Yeah.
She's absolutely self-absorbed, but I can't see her as selfish because I never see her as being covetous in any way or, like, greedy or grasping. She just... And she doesn't really think... she's not concerned necessarily for her own safety at any point, really. I don't know.
Which is why she's dumb enough to go to this grave and get herself kidnapped. I was like, come on, that's going to happen.
Selfish. She just strikes me as aloof.
I was not expecting her to get kidnapped at that grave. I thought if something would have happened, it would have happened at another point. It wouldn't have happened at that point. To me, she almost felt safe when she went to that grave.
I didn't even see why that dude was there.
Yeah,
like, why would he go there too?
Yeah.
At that point, that to me is the weak part in the book. Actually, is why
maybe he was feeling bad.
Because that seems like a lot of waiting. You're just gonna hang out by that gravestone and hope Flavia puts the clues together. And it's just like, hope she figures it out soon. I'm tired of sitting here.
Did you guess?
I was just thinking, it's a deserted place. This is going to be a bad move. This is not going to work out well for her because she's figured it out. That's when those things happen, is in a deserted location that's related but not super related. So that was just, it's kind of a trope, but I was like, back away, Flavia. But
yeah,
she's 11 and stupid, so she went.
Did you know that sketching dude, the researcher, was like not who he said he was? Did you get that?
I wondered why he was being introduced suddenly. And then when he came around the second time, I was like, oh, I know what's happening here. What about you,
had
Donovan?
that sense, but I think that was only because it was my second read through. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I would have picked him out the first time.
I thought there was something fishy about him, but I would have never thought that it was actually that dude. You know what I mean? I don't know what I thought.
I do like that her dad, she immediately thinks her dad is like, oh yeah, he might have done that, but I'm behind him all the way.
Well, she has a theory.
And she thinks about it.
She starts a theory. She works on her theory. She does change her theory based upon the evidence presented, but because it all fits in line, much like the police, she has her evidence supporting what she thought happened, which is why you don't focus on that random dude, because she's not.
Right. Barry said that he likes that Flavia was using her wittiness to overcome the challenges that were presented to her, which is an interesting. I don't know if I would have called her witty, though.
She's very witty.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's incredibly sharp.
I would have called her clever.
She's that, too. But she's always very quick with a retort.
It's true.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And knows what direction to take a conversation if she needs it to go somewhere, too.
Yeah. Okay, so rating out of 1 to 5 stars?
3.
3?
3.5.
Would you recommend it to a friend?
Sure. I made you guys read it.
Oh yeah, right. This was Donovan's suggestion for book club. I mean, someone else suggested it during a virtual social.
And I was like, oh yeah, I read that. It
and
has stamps.
so she said, heck yeah. So how about you? What's your rating?
I would give it a 4. I was taken in more than I expected to be. Plus, there's a penny black line, thread, which I appreciated.
It's got stamps. Yeah.
I wonder if other people who don't know about stamps would have recognized. Because I was thinking, aren't penny blacks really valuable? I don't, especially if they're weird ones. And so when that was on the beak, I was like, why would you mutilate that? That's terrible. Although maybe they were less rare 50 years ago or 60 years ago than they are now.
Speaking of which,
if other people would have realized.
I totally forgot to talk about the scene where the dude burns the fucking stamp.
That was awesome.
Oh my god!
I almost threw the book. I was reading the book. No, I was reading the book on the bus, and I almost threw the book across the bus because I was so upset.
No, it was great because that was how the stamp was lost.
Had supposedly gone.
I don't know. I thought it very poetic. And obviously that man is very poetic. He quoted so much poetry in the 5 pages in which we got to know him and then leave him. They could have given it to her. They could have had he got it back. Yeah, and then he was able to do with his stamp what he wanted to do, which was burn it up, and that was the end of it.
Upsetting.
I liked it.
Upsetting.
I was mad that she told this guy to go back to her house where her family and daughter were and go look for that stamp in a place that was not where it was, instead of being like, oh, I gave it to so-and-so, which is truthful enough and would have been there was other adults and stuff in that location rather than just Dogger, who's not particularly reliable depending on the hour. And then that guy could have been like, I burned it. And he would have been like, well, shit. Like, and then she's not lying, and he wouldn't get, I don't know. I thought that would have been a better answer from her perspective when he asked, where the hell did you put this thing?
Yeah.
I thought she was on the spot. She did give some alternatives first, but he didn't believe her. So I think that the trueness in the fact that the stamp had been there lent the truthfulness to her statement to him that allowed him to believe that the stamp was there.
Which
But
I
that
loved
would
her.
have worked for the other thing.
Yeah, I would have. I loved her deduction on figuring out that the dad hid the stamp on the clock just because it was 3 minutes behind.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was so cool. It was like
'Cause
the
he's a
only
very
real
precise
detective
man.
work, honestly.
I don't know, the whole, like, the finding the stamps in the luggage seal, that was totally detective work.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
the
yeah.
ledger and the calling things. Like, she did a lot of detecting.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I would give this book 3 stars just because I have so many pulling emotions about it. And who I would recommend it to would be extremely, like,
Smart children.
no, I just wouldn't I probably wouldn't recommend it to anyone outside of the L.W.A. or anyone who didn't like stamps
People
or
that don't like British culture would not like this book.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, if they weren't really into murder
If
mysteries.
you like BBC documentaries, if you like anything in regards to 1950s Britain, this book is for you.
Oh, Donovan, please tell everyone what your current obsession is.
No, I'm not gonna know.
I want to know.
Any BBC documentary with the word farm in it. Edwardian farm, Victorian farm, Christmas, wartime farm, Tudor monastery farm.
I was about to ask, are there multiples of these? But apparently, yes.
There are many.
Yeah, I read the book from one of the
Ruth Goodman.
Yeah, Ruth Goodman's book. I think it's called like A Day in the Life of Victorian or something like that. And she's one of the people in all of these farm books or farm movies shows. And I loved the story. She starts from like when you wake up in the morning until when you go to sleep, and she talks about all classes in Victorian times. And it made me really happy to not be alive then.
Oh yeah, no, God. I mean, it just worked all day to live.
Yeah, and then, like, you know, child labor, and you died probably at 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No good. So, yeah. That's,
Unless you're rich.
unless you're rich.
Or,
there you go.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah. But, well, I'm happy that this had a postage stamp tied to it because it was an interesting book to have.
Yeah, I mean, and I just wanted to bring in a book that wasn't about, that had a tie-in to letters and letter writing, but wasn't necessarily about that or focused on that.
Yeah.
Because
I do appreciate
my
my distillery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I'm trying to find books for the book club, and it's hard to find ones that don't have it like as a huge theme. But I found a few, so
yeah,
we'll be seeing them in the next year.
And there's nothing wrong with it as a theme. I just wanted to break it up.
Mm-hmm.
Rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was distracted for a moment because I definitely dropped my phone in a glass of water.
Oh, God. Do you have rice?
I think so. I think it's good. I took the case off. It looks pretty decent.
If you throw it in a bag of rice.
It wasn't the battery. It was the
yeah,
top
throw
end.
it in a bag of rice for about 3 hours, and you should be all right.
It's still on. It's not even.
Yeah, as long as it's still working, it's probably fine.
Seems fine.
Our next book,
it was
Captain.
mostly the camera end, and so I just. Yeah. Oops. Just
Yeah.
FYI, sorry, I looked like I was like, oh God, what happened?
No.
That was why.
So our next book is Letters to the Lost by Iona Gray. And it's, let me see, a beautifully written and evocative novel, the story of an impossible, unstoppable love affair, set in London during World War II and the present day. Oh, I didn't know it was a dual thing. Yeah.
So Donovan approved this, obviously.
I did. I mean, I said, sure, that sounds fine.
She did.
It's not the type of book that I
Flash
would.
up your alley.
I'm not a super romance reader.
Oh, I meant for the location purposes.
Oh. Well, our guest for that one is actually a person that lives in London, so that'll be an interesting thing that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we haven't settled on the date yet, but because he lives in England, the time's going to be different than usual to accommodate his not being asleep during that hour.
Right.
So, but once we set the date, we'll
It'll be next year, though.
Yeah, it's going to be in January. So this is the last book club for 2015. And then probably the first or second week of January will be the next book club, or the first book club for 2016. So you guys have all of winter to read Letters of the Lost. It is 300...
To the Lost.
Sorry, yes, Letters to the Lost. And it is 384 pages. And it was published in May, so there has to be an audiobook of it already and an ebook, obviously, so for traveling purposes. Yeah.
Melissa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Again, Melissa's shop is Analog in DC. You should stop by and see her. And you can also see her on the internet at Craftgasm, yes? On the internet?
Craftgasm on Twitter and Shop Craftgasm on Instagram because some little Minecraft people stole the other one.
Ah,
Those
okay.
bastards.
All right. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in now and forevermore on the Immortalized YouTube page. And write more letters.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks, guys.